This is Amplify You, the podcast about you discovering your message and broadcasting it to the world. If you're a coach, author, or speaker, you'll want to tune in. If you're looking for the best return on your time investment to get your message out to the world in a bigger way, we're giving you full access and behind the scenes look of how we're running our podcast, how our clients have found success, and what you can do to launch your podcast today. The world needs your message. I'm Michelle Abraham, the host. Join my family as we unleash your unique genius and find the connections you need to launch your adventure today. Join us and let's get amplified. Hello, Amplify You family. I'm Michelle Abraham, your host. I'm here today with a special guest for our Ask the Expert interview today. I have got the quiz queen with me, Catharine O'Leary. So Catharine, how are you doing today?
Oh, I'm great. It's Friday and it's all good.
Awesome. I see we're matching today too. So Catharine and I both wearing teal colored shirts today. So it's good. We got the memo of wearing matching outfits today. Awesome. So Catharine, I know you as the quiz queen around town and around the internet. You have developed a name for yourself in helping people set up quizzes. And I thought it'd be really fun today to talk about how perhaps quizzes could be something that people could use from their podcast as a great lead magnet. We're trying to always get something really cool from your podcast to get people to actually take action. So, and I know people are obsessed with quizzes when it comes on social media. So I think this would be a really cool idea. But first, I'd love to hear, how did you become the quiz queen?
Yeah, I didn't grow up wanting to be the quiz queen, believe it or not. I wanted to be the Wolf of Wall Street. So I went to business school, got my master's degree in economics, and started in corporate life in market research and consumer insights. So very much in that asking consumer questions and translating that into corporatese, whether that's new products, marketing campaigns, sales conversations, whatever that looks like. So I worked my way through several corporations, working with or working for the likes of Pepsi and Apple and HP and Adobe, always in that consumer research and market research and consumer insights. So, it was, I remember talking to my father about it, and I was, he asked me at one point in time, what is it that you do? What is your title? And I said, it's Senior Director of Market Research and Consumer Insights. And he shook his head and he looked down. I thought, oh, what's happened? And he's like, Jesus, Maddie and Joseph, Catharine, if you're just going to make stuff up, don't even talk to me. And I was like, Dad, I'm not making it up. I swear to God, that's a real thing. It's just, all it is translating consumer challenges into, into corporate conversations that the likes of Pepsi can take back to their marketing camps and their product camps to create whatever they need. So that's how I became the quiz queen.
I love it. And I love the Irish accent that came out there too. You're real good at that one.
Born and bred.
Yeah, that's great. It's interesting. It's those, as from a small businesses, we don't really think about those insights and those things, but how great would that be to have a new lead come into your business where you know so much about them already that you can really help tailor your conversations if it's going into a sales conversation with them or nurture sequences with them on really how to guide those conversations and it'd be huge. So why are people so obsessed with quizzes?
With quiz, well, you know what? Quizzes are fun because they're more than just a survey. So corporations do surveys and they learn a lot about their consumer, but the consumer doesn't get a lot back. So it's not the same self-discovery journey. A quiz is put together for the consumer to learn something about themselves, and people love to learn about themselves. I mean, their favorite subject matter is what's in it for me, right? So when you can put into context your offer, your services, how you serve into a what's in it for me in the terms of your best clients, attract their attention, you've got a captive audience. And you can then proceed to build that, the authority, the respect, and the trust that you need to actually offer that next step. And so a quiz, people love taking quizzes because, they want to know, like, how to become, a 7-figure, earner, or how do I, increase my, lead capture from my podcast, or, like they want to learn things like that. They want to learn if their superpower is, talking on stage, or maybe their superpower is behind the scenes. And they also, in the same time, the business, it's a win for, because the business builds that know, like, and trust factor. And the brilliant thing about quizzes is that it attracts your best clients. So you're not dealing with all the tire kickers and freebie seekers. You're building up that knowledge and your expertise in your field of genius. And then you're inviting them. It's a nice warm handshake to the next step. So after they learn about their superpower, or after they learn about what, where they best fit into a stage show or something like that, they get that invite. They get that invite to your webinar, or to your one-on-one call, or to the next episode, or, whatever that looks like for them. And it's, it's not a cold, like it's a nice warm lead now. And if they don't complete the quiz, that's brilliant, because they weren't your person anyways. So now you're not wasting that time on those one-on-one calls, or going through your nurture sequence with people that maybe aren't really ready for you yet.
Right. Very cool. Yeah, it seems like then you're getting warm leads to your inbox instead of colder leads that take a lot more effort. But also, I love the fact that they're getting something out of it too. They're learning something about them, whether it's their, some of the quizzes I've taken, like, what kind of salesperson are you, or what's your archetype, or what's your, it's so many great ones. So is it really complicated to build a quiz, or are there some templates or things that we can use, or like, how do we go about, like, it seems like choose your own adventure to me. Like, if they say yes, you got to go over here. If they say no, you got to go here. Like, it seems very like complex in my head. Is it really that hard to build one?
It's not. I mean, it is more effort than, a normal kind of PDF checklist or things of that nature, which are great for what they are. The problem with those things is that right now, in the state that we are in, only 20% of those are ever open.
Right. So
you've got a whole bunch of people on your list that you think that you've developed a relationship with, or started to, because they've read your material, and they haven't. So now you're kind of back at square one, where they're not really as warm a lead as you thought they were. So you're not really sure who's on your list. But a quiz, you want to start with your offer. So you always want to start at the end. So where are you trying to, like, you're the navigator, right? You're trying to take them on this journey. Where do you want them to end up? So is that your webinar? Is that your offer? What is your offer? So get super, super clear on your offer and your target audience, right? Who's your best client? What is keeping them up at night, right? That's the question that you want to lead with. Because, goldfish have an attention span of 8 seconds. Our attention span is 7 seconds.
So bad, right?
Not so good. Not so good. So you don't have a lot of time to stop the scroll. So you really want to hit them hard. Hit them hard with, hey, I can help you with that one thing, whatever that is. That one thing that is driving you bonkers, or like that you really need to solve in your business. And let's figure out how, for you, that solution works. So it does take a little bit more upfront effort. The thing is that the back end, you now have a system that can generate leads 365 days a year for you. And now your marketing and your kind of prospecting is on autopilot, and you get to play in your zone of genius. So once it's created and you've optimized it, it's something that doesn't necessarily, expire, or go out of style or anything like that. Like, it's always running for you. So, a little bit of a more upfront kind of thought and process to it of, starting with the offer, working backwards to get that problem to solve, and then take them, you got to connect the dots, right? You got to get them from point A to point B. And you do that through the questions that you ask. And those questions can build your subject matter expertise. So the way that you frame them, the way that you talk about them, you can inject your personality in them. If you're quirky, you can, put GIFs in if you want, or pictures and that kind of thing. But you're also, the answers that you offer might make them think differently. Like, oh, I hadn't thought of that as an answer to that question. So you want to take them through kind of where they are now, what they're challenged with, where they want to be. And then, hey, you know what? Here's a couple of small steps that you can take to get up the mountain. And that's kind of the freebie side of the quiz. So the insights that you give. But then again, the genius is, and if you want to learn more, if you want to get to the top of the mountain, if you want to go all the way, then let's talk about this course or this coaching or this, this one-on-one retreat or whatever that looks like.
I was just going to ask that question. Is it better if you're trying to lead them to like a product or a service or like an event, or does it matter what the end result is or where you're trying to lead them to? Does one work better than the other?
It doesn't. I mean, you know what? It's really about making sure your offer is dialed in and you understand that, and then the problem to solve. Okay. Right. So if you want to be driving in traffic into your coffee shop, then maybe you start with, hey, what color is your latte? And then you can like take them through and have a coupon at the end, where, hey, you're, for your chocolate latte, or maybe you're the caramel latte, or you're the raspberry. Here's a coupon for you. Come on in and to the bricks and mortar. I mean, if it's a book launch, then you can, take them through some of the things, the challenges that the book talks about, and then lead them into the buying the book, or a retreat. Maybe it's what's the first thing you pack? Is it a hiking boots? Is it a bathing suit? Or is it, a sun hat? And take them through a quiz that, maybe it's an adventure quiz, an adventure retreat, or a beach retreat, or something like that. So in 25 years, I have yet to meet a business I can't create a quiz for. So I think I do think it works for a lot of people. I think it works really well for speakers and podcasters and broadcasters, because I think that they leave a lot of leads behind. So they don't have a really robust way to capture the people that are in the room or listening. So if you can drop a quiz at the end of your podcast, like my quiz is, hey, you know what? Go ahead and take the quizformybiz.com, right? That's a live quiz. I drop it everywhere, every network meeting, every podcast, every summit. That's my business card. That takes them to the quiz where I get to capture their information and give them something for that. So I think that that speaker, podcaster, broadcaster is potentially leaving some of those people without a way to get connected back with.
Cool. Can you share a little bit more about your quiz? So you said you're using that now as a business card. So now when you go out, which I think is great, rather than sharing, go to my LinkedIn profile or something like that, you're saying go to my quiz. And so what is your quiz trying to establish? Is it establishing you as the authority, or is it asking them like on a choose your own adventure kind of thing to lead to somewhere? I'm sure it's doing both.
Yeah. So, I mean, my quiz is what quiz is best for your biz. And there are three kind of stages, I guess, of a business. So, either you're building your foundation, or you've got a signature course and you're building your brand, or you've got kind of your systems in place and you're ready to amp up and you're ready to really kind of scale. So depending on kind of your goal, I guess, is, where you want to start thinking about your offer. And my quiz takes you through kind of where you're at right now in your business journey, what quiz is going to help you achieve that result of whether it's building your list or building your brand or building, your, that system. A quiz can do all of those things. So it's just really kind of what the quiz does is focuses you and personalizes it to what you need that quiz to do. The functionality of the quiz is the same across all of those, but you are talking to, like, I am talking to Michelle, who wants to really build his brand and become that subject matter expert, be the real estate agent in the area. Or I'm talking, to Kimberly, and she's all about, ramping it up, making sure the systems are running 365. What does that need to look for her? It tells me when I'm talking to them where they are in their business and how to frame the quiz.
That's great. I love it because you seem to be then arriving at like a consultation stage with them, or the next stage, but far more educated and prepared to have those conversations that lead to sales in a more efficient way, it seems.
Yeah, I mean, quizzes are really good for shortening the sales cycle because you're building all that kind of, respect and trust in 60 seconds versus 60 emails,
Right.
Nurture sequences. So you're building that goodwill. You're inviting them right away. They're reading it because they get the results immediately. So you're not trusting, or you're not like counting on them to read the download. So you're shortening your sales cycle. It's also because it's fun and people like taking quizzes, you're going to get probably 3 times as many leads for the same amount of effort. So, if you're used to getting 100 leads off of, Summit, you might get 300 now. With the same effort. So I always like leveraging the same amount of time and getting better results.
Absolutely.
And now the other thing too is that now you're just dealing with quality, right? So I used to work in network marketing, and I used to get thousands of leads. They were not very good leads. In fact, most of them were not at all good leads. And so I often said, I'd rather get 10 really good, solid leads than thousands of people that I have to weed through and try to figure out who's really interested versus not. And that's, the quiz does that for you too. So it's kind of that lead magnet on steroids.
Yeah, it seems like such a good idea. Just having so many ideas through my head of how you can use quizzes for this or for that or for other things. Do you suggest businesses have one quiz that's their main gateway into working with them, or would it be more specific for each program they run would have its own quiz?
It really depends. Again, you start at the end. So what are you trying to achieve? I like a lot of quizzes that I like to do are kind of higher level. They're the umbrella quiz, if you will, that they're kind of for your business. The thing with quizzes is that it's really super easy at the back end. If you're going for, this month, you might have a webinar. So you're sending everyone to the webinar, but in a month, that's not going to be relevant anymore. So you just change the back end link to go to now your sales call or your sales page or your wait list, whatever that is. So that back end is really easy to switch up when you need it. So I suggest, I like to do that umbrella conversation, have the quiz be higher level so it lives longer. And then in the back end, you can customize things so that they go to the immediate tactics of the day.
Yeah, super cool. It seems like it's just so much more of a valuable lead magnet than a PDF or a download of some sort that we see these days that just are not comforting and they don't excite people and doesn't really do much for list building at all, really. And I know so many times I've gone and downloaded something that looks good. And it's by the time I got to my inbox, I forgot what it was and I never went back and opened it, right? Even though I was interested in that moment. It's it's so amazing. Even 3 minutes later, I've forgotten and moved on.
Yeah. That's why I love quizzes, because as soon as they give their email information, they get the results. Now, whether they watch your video or whatever, if you have that at the end of the quiz, that's different, but you've at least got 2 different ways to connect with them. You do send them a PDF. You do send them a PDF report, that's something that you did promise. So that's fine, but they've gotten the results and more importantly, they've gotten that invitation to the next step right then, right there. There, you don't have to wait for the PDF and you don't have to wait for them to open it. They have it right there to connect and register or connect your calendar or whatever that looks like.
Yeah, such a good idea. Love it. Well, I'm sold. I need to get a I need to get a quiz on my podcast. I think that would be a great way of lead generating from the podcast. Have you worked with podcasters that to add quizzes on? And has it been something that they've really seen success with?
Yeah, so a lot of speakers are podcasters.
Yeah.
So now you've got a lead generation system that works for in either situation.
Yeah, that's
So
great.
now you're not creating like a whole bunch of stuff that only works for one thing or another. That's why I like quizzes, because like even if you're in a networking meeting or you're at a retreat and somebody wants to know what you do, and it's like, hey, just take my quiz. And so it can live, across platforms like that. It's also agnostic, so it lives anywhere a link can live. So you can email it, you can have a QR code for it, you can put it in ads for Facebook or Google, or whatever you're doing. And you can also put it in your profile for Instagram, that kind of things. So it's easily transferred to wherever you really need it, to try and capture those leads, and you're capturing everyone in the same kind of frame of mind.
Yep.
And with the same information. So it just streamlines everything for you.
That's awesome. If you were starting out today, Catharine, in a business, what would you know now that you would have liked to have known when you first started looking at quizzes or implementing quizzes?
That's a good question. I would have liked to know that so while it seems overwhelming, to start with, once you get into it, you get clarity on your offer and your target audience that you didn't think that you were going to get. So I think one of the benefits of quizzes outside of the actual, 3 times your leads and double your conversion rates is you actually get a lot of clarity. You get super focused because you got to sit down and think, okay, what's that one question that people are getting to? So I think I would have liked to know that, so I would have been a better service.
Yeah, that's actually a huge benefit, because I think a lot of times us entrepreneurs are not totally clear on our offer or the pathway to our offer. And when we're not clear, our audience is not clear and they don't buy. So confused buyer never buys. So I think that's a huge benefit of actually doing a quiz and mapping it out, because you get to make that map right there, right? And have that clarity. So that's awesome. I love that. So Catharine, where can we go and test out your quiz? I'd like to send our audience to your quiz so they can see and experience your quiz. I think that would help them put some ideas in their head of how they can create a quiz for their podcast.
Yeah. So it's literally quizformybiz.com.
Perfect. So is it easy to buy quiz related URLs, or are they kind of like hard to come by?
You know what? And it doesn't have to say quiz. It could be like whatever you would name a lead magnet, right? You can have some fun with it. So, that's the thing. You want to have fun with it. It's not the census. You're not, you're not trying to get every single answer to every single question out known to mankind. It's meant to be fun. It's meant to show off your sense of humor and so on. So quiz for my biz works for me because I'm kind of quirky like that. But yeah, when it's just like when you have a thought for a book title or something, go and get the domain right away, even if you don't use it. So same with a quiz, I would say.
Yeah, I didn't do that with my business right away. So I'm sitting 3 more days till their domain expires. I'm gonna grab it as soon as it expires. Oh gosh, yeah, domains are one of those things. I have a whole bunch that I don't use, and then there's ones I'm waiting for. So yeah, that's great. And so it doesn't have to actually say quiz in it. It could just be like, what's the flavor of your coffee or something like that, like you mentioned earlier. Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I was always wondering.
Yeah.
So quiz for your biz, quiz for my biz.
Quiz for my biz. Yeah. All written out. So not the number 4, just quiz for my biz. The other thing is just to make sure that even if you have to buy a domain that only goes like kind of a redirect for the quiz, make sure it's easy. It's easy to spell out. It's easy to remember. So like just especially if it's going to be something that you're going to brand and you're going to use everywhere, just make sure that it's super easy.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds great. I love it. I mean, I'm thinking like with our text to number, we could even do like we have the word podcast that you text to a number. Even that could then be like connected to the quiz too. So
Yep.
yeah, that's great.
Yep.
Love
Yep.
it. Well, Catherine, thank you so much. You've kind of like opened my mind about quizzes, and I've got a whole bunch of them and like mulling in my head now that of ways that we can use quizzes to double our leads and our flow. You even said 3 times the amount of leads, so that's really exciting because the PDF down the blog just doesn't work anymore. And
It's challenged. It has
yeah.
its challenges. Let's say that. Let's say that.
Exactly. We want people to feel like they're getting something of value too when they are downloading something. So if they can get that right away and learn what their flavor of their coffee is or color of their coffee is, that's awesome. They're
Yep.
learning something about themselves.
Yep.
Fantastic.
Yeah. No. And you could have a lot of fun with like whatever your podcast title is, or
Mhm.
your pod, like the focus of your podcast. You can have a lot of fun.
Yeah, I can see that. It can be super creative with it too. So very cool. Well, Catherine, thanks so much for joining us today. It's been fantastic having you. Make sure you guys go out, Amplify You listeners, head on over to quizformybiz.com so you can check out Catherine's quiz, see if you get inspired to start a quiz for your business too. And make sure you reach out to Catherine to do that. All right. Have a great, fantastic week, everyone. We'll see you again here next week. Same place, same time. Catherine, any last words for our listeners?
Just that to attract the best clients, you got to ask the best questions.
Ooh, good one. All right. Have a great week, everyone. Take care.